this is such a 180, isn't it, from last year?
It's completely feels different. The whole, everything about the session was different. The budget process was completely different. I feel great.
So why? What's the difference between last year and this year?
Well, I think partially I know a little more about the process. Certainly still a lot more to do, but I think it got to be such a terrible point last year when the budget came, and then the budget that was passed was not great for Illinois. I think the more information that came out after the budget, the gotchas, even the people that, you know, that voted for it were like, oh, and I really feel they just did not want to do that again. They did not want to bring the politics into it. I mean, there's still some of that of, you know, you're always going to have that.
Right.
You know, who gets what and why, and if, you know, the negotiating piece of it. But the budgeteers that were chosen were wonderful. They're all pretty much bipartisan, have the knowledge of the budget system, which is massive.
Right.
And the leaders on top of the rank and file sat down and talked. And they've been going at it for hours and hours and hours. And both the Republican and the Democrat staff have been 24 hours. They've been crazy. So.
And that was, so I guess that the legislature got the message from the people that, hey, enough of this, you know, junk. We need some real budget work done. And
yeah, and a lot of folks were leaving. So they also knew that they were not leaving without a budget. So either you make a budget that's fair for the people of Illinois, or we're going to pass a budget that, you know, it might not be great, but we're not going to let the state burn down.
Right.
And we're not going to let our social services go through what they went through last time. We're not going to not fund our schools. We're not going to play those games. We're leaving, and we're leaving with a budget.
Right.
So I think that was also a factor. It made them sit at the table, and, you know, it's not perfect. And we're going to learn more and more small line items that come out, just like we did last time.
Right.
But, you know, overall it's balanced. It's higher than you want. It does include the tax increase that they passed last session, but you cannot just repeal that overnight.
Right.
And it funds everything,
Right.
and that's the most important thing.
Are the days gone where, I mean, like, I know at the school board meeting the other day that our PLT is still owed, I don't know, $300,000, $200,000. Are those days going to end where the state's constantly behind trying to catch up, or are we getting there? Or?
Our backlog's now at $6 billion, and I did talk to the comptroller before I took the vote.
Yeah.
You know, she's the one who writes the checks, and I had a great relationship with my comptroller in Savannah, and you want to know what's going on, you call the comptroller. And to be honest, she feels good about the budget and feels that it is the start. We're paying our last, I think it was our last payment from the Quinn era right now, so that's going to open up $1 billion. We're on a plan to get our backlog paid. It's unfortunate that we have it.
Right.
You know, the political BS that got us there.
Right. Right.
But we are on a path. With this, we're paying 1.1 and the supplemental for FY18, and that includes funding for all of the vendors that have been holding on with DOC, for our Department of Corrections, and our frontline workers are finally going to get paid. Our oldest bill, 2011.
I saw that.
So what a great stimulus for our area.
Right.
So
Right.
that's included in this as well. But yeah, we're getting there. They say the average right now is about 60 days. I think there's still a lot out there that are beyond 60 days,
Right.
but they're saying overall that's the average. The debt transparency bill that was passed really does give us a better idea of what the debt is out there. And if you don't know how to plan, if you don't know what the agencies are holding.
Right. Right. And I'm trying to think of other locally. I mean, there's some infrastructure, right, that's coming our way, some road improvements. The other thing I think about, at least at Provincetown, is our state park there, and they seemingly have just been so undercut for so many years. And I don't know.
The state parks are horrid.
Yeah.
You know, Savannah, my hometown, also has a state park. Yeah, and it was interesting. I just got a Facebook message about not having air. Is it there?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a facility that's not having air. So we did reach out to DNR to see is that on the capital plan for the short term.
Right.
What can we do? There was a bill passed last year, Representative Spain, so volunteers could come as
Yeah.
long as it's not replacing jobs.
Right. Right.
Um, it's kind of funny whether or not you can even have public-private partnerships. And I think a lot of, at least in our neck of the woods where we live, people are just taking it upon themselves to fix things and
Right.
do things, and
Right.
that really does help.
Because I mean, and I mean, it's a big economic stimulator in town, and if it's not kept up, and I know there's several people in town who are more than willing to go down there, and the Boy Scouts have done a lot of good things
Sure.
down in our park, and
Sure.
it's just one of those things. It's sort of like, again, if you don't have one in your town, it's like everything else. You don't really care. But if it's your town, then all of a sudden you're like, well, come on.
Well, right. And one of the things too, people need to remember, I am very accessible, and there's been a couple times there's been trees down,
Yeah.
and don't wait till it's too late. Call me. Let's get them. The DNR folks in
Right.
Prophetstown, they are great.
Right.
And DNR is very accessible. I could get them on the phone right now.
Yeah.
So we do try to do that. We just remind people, don't call after you've been waiting so long.
Right.
Because then you're frustrated, and when
Right.
we can maybe help before you get to that point.
Yeah. So and then you have a busy summer. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
we'll see you out and about.
Yeah, June is really busy. We're doing a lot of year-end state of the state. I have a lot of traveling office hours, a few coffee chats with Senator Anderson,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of Rotaries, Lions, chamber
Right.
meetings, just so I can talk about how the year ended, some of the interesting bills that I was able to participate for our constituents here in our district,
Right.
the budget. As I go to different groups, what piece of the budget is important to them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, pretty busy, and obviously we do have an election in November, so start knocking doors again, where we first met.
Exactly. She's here. All right. Awesome. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.